Hey guys, it's Andrea here at VW Family Farm. I'm sitting out here on the porch of my market amongst all these beautiful ferns. There's plants down on the ground. It's just is one of my favorite places to be right now. I want to take just a few minutes. This video probably won't be very long, but I feel like this has been on my heart, and I've seen other podcasts and YouTube videos and things from other YouTubers surrounding this same topic. And I'm like, this is a common theme here. Lord, what are you trying to say to me? And so this is for somebody. Maybe not all of this applies to you, but maybe some of it does. And so here we go. So I've been at this homesteading thing a long time now. In fact, since like 2012 or so. That's when we bought our first homestead animals. They were pigs. And shortly thereafter, we bought our first homestead cow. Her name was Mama Cow. I know it's so original. But I don't know what's got me thinking about this other than, and this is the first time I'm actually sharing this. So you guys are the first to know. In fact, right across from me over there, I'm sitting here looking at my milk cows bunching on hay. And I've shown you the milk cows in the recent past. And if you were paying attention, you might have picked up on this, but maybe not. I probably wouldn't have if it was me as a viewer. But Butter is no longer there. And if you've been here a long time, Butter came with our first milk cow, Mama Cow. She was her calf, and we weren't even filming back then. But if you go back to our old videos, Butter is all throughout those videos. She was just a staple piece here on our homestead. I think a lot of people would think that would be Miracle. Miracle was our milk cow that almost died as a heifer, and she has her own playlist and all the things. But really, in real life here on our homestead and farm, Butter was the one. Butter was the one that had been here. She was the first one Ben and I trained. If you ask him, if we were in one of those game shows where it was like, what would your husband's answer be? I can promise you, if you ask him what's the wildest milk cow we've ever trained, he would say Butter. She was a wild calf, but we watched videos and did all kinds of things and trained her, and she turned out to be the best cow. But sadly, you can do the math. We got her about 2012. She's 13 years old. So that's getting on up there. And what had happened was she didn't breed back for like a year or more. We actually took her to the vet. We don't normally do that with a cow that won't breed back. They're just cold. But we're like, this is Butter. We've got to give her a chance. And we took her to the vet, and he was like, yeah, she's not bred. And she wasn't even showing signs of heat anymore. And so it was just time. So Butter is no longer here. It was sad. It was a sad day. And I've never cried over a cow, but I did cry over her mom, Mama Cow. And then when Butter left, it was another just kind of sad day, because that was just the beginning for us. That was kind of our roots. And so I don't know if that's part of it. Like, we've been at this so long that things like that are happening. Like, our first things we don't have anymore. And I mean, that's happened a lot. Like, we've had to change directions on, pigs or whatever the case may be. But I don't know, that was just seemed pretty significant here on our farm and homestead. And so, and then take also into consideration, I'm sitting here at a market that is, oh my goodness, y'all, this thing is booming. Here in about an hour, this parking lot, they've stopped traffic before when it was market day. Partly because we're only open certain hours of the week. So it's like certain times, and people want certain things and they want to be the first here to get it. And please don't take this as me bragging. This is me bragging on God that he has blown us away. This is the market that almost didn't happen. When we were about to pull the trigger and do some sort of market, and we couldn't decide if it was a portable building, a metal building, what, we didn't know. We were almost like, do you want to just stop altogether? Sell everything, all the cows, all the animals, not our house, but sell all the animals and just raise steers seasonally, like get them in the spring, sell them in the fall. We almost did that, guys. But we just felt like, no, we're on the brink. This is it. We're on the brink. And so we pulled the trigger and did it, and it has been the biggest mind-blowing blessing ever. So with that all being said, homesteading is kind of taking a back seat. And what I mean by that is, like, we're still hot and heavy into some things. Like, I'm milking cows more than I ever have every single day. And we're raising animals. I've got dirty hands right now from being in the garden and the different things. But used to, my idea of homesteading was, as my kids were growing up, like living on the back 40. Eventually they would find someone to marry and they would move here too, and we would all live here and we would all homestead, but we'd have some way we were making money from this. Ben would be able to retire and we'd just all be here, and as little contact with the outside world as possible, and we'd just do our thing, and we would grow food and we would raise animals and we would go fishing and we would go hunting and all these different things and just live off the land. And we'd just be, the girls would just be skipping around in sundresses, hanging clothes on the clothesline and all these things. And none of those things are bad or far-fetched or anything like that, but it's just all shifted. The last summer, both of the kids got married, and now here we sit. Neither one of them live close to us. I mean, they're not super far, but they're 45 minutes away from us in opposite directions. So they're an hour and a half from each other. And they both have jobs off the farm, totally fine. They're both still involved here. They both still have calves being born right now, and they have ties here, and we see them all the time. We just went on a vacation together, all the things, everything's great, but they're out doing their thing. In fact, Lane is a youth pastor. He's working with teenagers. And I mean, like, what better thing? Like, I'm so excited about that. And we actually work in the youth group with him. So it's really great. And Emily's doing really great and doing her thing. But it's just not what I had pictured in my mind when they were young. And then now this has been literally dropped in my lap, and things are just different. And my idea of homesteading it's changed, and it's just kind of taken a back seat. But this is for someone that is okay. If the plans for your life, God's plans for your life, don't line up to be the same as your plans, that is okay. And in some ways it's better. My relationship with my kids is great. And would it be if they were trying to work here and they lived right here? I don't know. Ben and I are doing fantastic. We're working together. Instead of the kids working here, Ben and I are working here together. He still has a full-time job, but we're together a lot, and it's been wonderful. And we are closer than we've literally ever been in 25 years of marriage, almost 26. But I'm not on the back 40. This has pulled me out of my shell and of my comfort zone. I'm in the community now. I see people 3 times a week here in this market that I would never have contact with. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing and such a blessing. I'm not growing all of our own food. In fact, we made the decision this year to not grow onions and potatoes because they take up a large part of our garden, and they've been largely unproductive the last couple years. I haven't done the work to make them successful and keep them weeded like I should and bugs off of them and all the things. And we just made the decision, like, hey, we don't have to do everything. I'm not doing everything like I used to. We're still raising all the meat. We still have gardens, big gardens. We're still milking cows. We're still, raising honeybees and all the things. But we're shifting more towards teaching that to others now. In fact, Saturday, Ben is teaching a bee class to beginner beekeepers. Instead of just keeping to ourselves and doing all this for ourselves, we're starting to branch out and invest into others. And now looking at it, I think that's been the plan all along. I think we needed those years where we were just in love with homesteading and we wanted to do it all to learn the skills. And now it's shifting, and I don't even know when that took place, but it's shifting to, I don't have to do everything, but I know how to do most things on the homestead, and I can start to teach those things to others. I'm turning over sourdough bread making to Emily. She's going to be making bread for the market. That's okay. I still know how and I can still do it for Ben and I, but it's time to let others do that. And it's time to realize that I don't have to do everything like I envisioned homesteading had to be. It doesn't have to be that way. It's actually better if it's not, if a lot of people are involved. And so that's where I'm at. And if that's where you're at, if things have changed drastically for you as they have for me, so drastically in the last few years, I feel like 2019 was basically my last normal year. Then COVID hit. Then my dad got sick and ultimately passed away. Then both the kids found their significant others and started spending large amounts of time away from here and eventually getting married and not living here. Things have changed so much for me, but it's okay. And if this year is not going to look the same for you, it's okay. If you don't want to grow the huge garden, you feel pulled in a different direction, it's okay. If you're doing something that's pulling you out of your comfort zone and out into your community, it's okay. I just feel like someone needs to hear that, and it's okay if God's plan and your plan are not the same. I promise you, you're going to see blessings upon blessings if you get in line with his plan. Is it all going to be exactly what you want? Probably not. But if you'd have let me plan everything a few years ago, would I still have the same kids that my kids married? I don't know. And I would never want to mess that up. So I'll just leave you with that. Thanks for watching, and God bless.